don't forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack making backflip. Telly Hank did with the action. With the Vato speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews, how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Ball off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby May. Just caught a touchdown from the Bay.
It was a surprise to me.
Few things conjure up more emotions for Broncos fans than the number 27.
To the 15-10, 5, it is a touchdown.
There's elation and pride.
80 yards for a touchdown, Darren Williams.
Hope and inspiration. But also the heartbreak that still lingers from January 1st, 2007.
Almost 2 years after Denver Broncos cornerback Darren Williams was killed in a drive-by shooting, a suspect has been indicted in the case. 25-year-old Wille Clark has long been considered a person of interest in the shooting. Wednesday, he was indicted on nearly 40 charges, including murder and attempted murder.
There is no bond set for Mr. Clark. He is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Like I said, he's charged with numerous counts of attempted first-degree murder. He's charged with counts of second-degree assault. He's also charged with numerous counts of crimes of violence.
According to the indictment, on January 1st, 2007, Williams and Clark were at a Denver nightclub with 2 different groups when an altercation between the groups broke out. Williams and others in his group drove off in a rented limo. Clark allegedly followed the vehicle in an SUV, then opened fire, hitting Williams and wounding 2 others. The indictment says 2 different handguns were used and at least 15 shots were fired.
There are numerous people in the SUV, and we are alleging in the indictment that Wille Clark is responsible for the murder of Darren Williams.
Authorities say the investigation is continuing.
There's still time for people to come forward. There may be other charges. So the case itself is not over, and the investigation itself is not over.
Clark was arrested on a parole violation only days after Williams was killed, and the 25-year-old is currently in federal custody.
No one has heard from Wille Clark since he was charged with 2 big murders in Denver. Until today.
Now I have nothing to do with nothing what these people are talking about.
An orange spoon from the Denver County Jail, making it into a homemade knife or shank. Guards say they found it in his cell on Monday. Tell me again why you think that this is so important, why you're making such a big deal about this. This is the first time that you have spoken publicly, been recorded, and on TV. Why is this such a big deal?
It's a big deal because I'm in here and these people can do anything to me, and then what'll happen? They'll charge me with something else. What's next? What are they going to find next? They're going to say they found a gun in my room.
Clark is charged with one of the most notorious crimes recently in Colorado, the murder of Denver Broncos cornerback Darren Williams. Williams died when someone fired several bullets into his limo on New Year's Day, 2007. Clark is also charged with what prosecutors call the worst kind of crime, killing this woman, Kaloni Ann Clark, in December 2006, only days before she was to testify in an attempted murder case.
There is really nothing that the justice system and law enforcement takes more seriously than the murder of a witness. The whole system comes to a crashing halt if witnesses are not safe.
But he asked 9 News to talk with him because he says someone in the jail is out to get him.
I was issued a white plastic spoon and a paper cup. That was it. And 2 sheets, a towel, and a blanket.
He's charged with these 2 serious murders, yet he goes into great detail about a white plastic spoon versus an orange plastic spoon. Why that kind of behavior?
It is not all that uncommon for inmates in custody to worry about the minutiae of their conditions of incarceration.
Why did you want to talk with us?
Because I wanted everybody to know how these people are treating me here. It's like, okay, what's going to be next? If they can put anything in there or say, oh, he had this, and then they're going to just charge me with it, That's not fair to me or to my family.
Clark could spend the rest of his life in prison or worse on the murder charges. What he still has is visits from friends and family, phone calls, privileges inside the jail. If he's convicted on the contraband charges, he could lose that too. Paula Woodward, 9 News.
Now today, I'm going to tell you guys the story of when some athletes get into it with some street niggas at the club, and the street niggas play for keeps. Colorado, what up though? We posted in Denver. Meet us downtown on 11th Avenue and Spear Boulevard. Y'all pull up. Now they say no murder is more important than another, but when you kill a witness, days away from trial, and on top of that, a second-year NFL player, you end up with some shit like 500 years. Now today, I'm going to tell you guys the story of a guy by the name of Willie Clark. The Denver Police Department would describe Willie Clark as a dangerous individual and a member of the Trey Crip gang. And it would be at a New Year's Eve party for NBA player Kenyon Martin, where Willie Clark's name will become infamous in the city of Denver. Now, the Trey or the Rolling 30 Crips was said to be founded in the mid-'80s by 3 friends from Denver that had family ties to the Watts area in South Central Los Angeles. Willie Clark would be closely linked to this gang, as well as an offshoot titled the Elite 8. Now, several members of that group, as well as some of the city's top professional athletes, would find themselves in Safari, a nightclub that was located near 10th Avenue and Broadway on December 31st, 2006 to bring the new year in. So not only was the party attended by second-year cornerback Darren Williams, Kenyon Martin, also there would be Denver Bronco wide receiver at the time, Javon Walker, as well as a rookie wide receiver that they had drafted by the name of Brandon Marshall. Now, as everybody is presumably enjoying their New Year's Eve, now at some point in the night, in between all the partying, some animosity will begin to flare up between 2 groups in the venue. That conflict leading to the cousin of Denver Bronco rookie wide receiver Brandon Marshall spraying champagne onto the other group, with that ultimately escalating to what some people describe as Brandon Marshall manhandling one of the members from the other group. But what Brandon Marshall nor his cousin had any idea of, that act of disrespect was going to cost one of the members of their group their lives before the night was over. Now, as the night would end, people would begin to disperse to their cars. Now, Darren Williams, who had arrived at the club in a Hummer-styled limousine, along with Javon Walker, several other men and females, would leave the club in the same vehicle, with Brandon Marshall and his cousin taking a separate vehicle. Now, unbeknownst to anyone driving in that limousine with Durant Walker, they were being followed by a Chevrolet Tahoe driven by disrespected gang member Willie Clark. And just as Willie Clark will pull parallel to the limo, he would fire 14 shots into the vehicle, carrying the 2 NFL players and 15 other people. Multiple people would be hit, but Darren Williams would end up losing his life on New Year's Day due to the shooting. And for more than 3 years, Denver Bronco fans will wonder why Darren Williams would end up being shot and killed on New Year's of 2007. And a lot of those answers would come out at the murder trial of Willie Clark, when testimony from the people in the vehicle with Willie Clark at the time of the shooting would indicate that Darren Williams was just an innocent bystander. And it would come out and be detailed in an article by Sports Illustrated that the intended target of those bullets was Brandon Marshall. He would end up being convicted and sentenced to life for the murder of Darren Williams. And if that wasn't enough, in December of 2011, he would be sentenced to a whopping 420 years for the murder of a female by the name of Colonian Clark, who was scheduled to testify against the leader of the Trey Crips, a guy by the name of Brandon Hicks. A lot of people would speculate that it would be that situation at that club that would make Brandon Marshall ask for a trade from the Denver Broncos that would eventually land him in Miami. Brandon Marshall would go on to have 8,000-yard seasons and amass over 80 touchdowns in the NFL. But to be brutally honest, based on all my research, he almost ain't make it. Y'all hit the red subscribe button and the bell right under this video so y'all know when this real trill spill shit is dropping. Y'all get in the comment box. Y'all flood it up. Y'all let me know what stories we need to go to, where we haven't been, what we missed, what we got wrong, all of that. Y'all make sure y'all get at me directly on Instagram, Twitter, POP_A_LOT. And y'all know the rundown. We're going to be back with some more real trill spill shit ASAP. And shit got Popalot. Whole lot of mob shit going on.